You hear a little StarCraft music? That's cause we're doing a little StarCraft 2 Zik in daily number 643. Before I do anything, please pick a number between 1 and 5 that isn't 2. Because we have 5 games between Nerchio and StarDust, we'll be snatching up one and analyzing it. In the last game, we got the chance to see StarDust do some really, really cool... Please choose an integer between 1 and 5. An integer. Alright, it's either 4 or 3. I don't know which one. We saw StarDust use a really weird build. Ultra fast 3 Nexus. And then he managed to lose his 3rd Nexus and still pull off a win. Because this very smart, fast hallucinated Phoenix to identify the all-in coming, and then answering with a Dark Shrine. Had he not seen the all-in coming, almost certainly would have been doing something like blink into Robo, or maybe just blink into more gateways and more blink and all the attackings. And then he would have been Abe Blinken. So the map is going to be 4. Let's watch a match between these two on Whirlwind. It's actually not going to go as good for StarDust. I'm lying. He wins this game. StarDust in the corner. His name is StarDust. Yes. Up in the top right, Nerchio. So this is the bigger the map, I would say there is more of a deviation between, not deviation, but the binary becomes stronger. If it's a really huge map, you can either do really aggressive warp-in antics very, very well, or you could do something like lots of expanding because it's harder for Zerg to attack. Basically, pylons close all distances always, so let's go ahead and stick with that. So right now we see the fast pylon and, ooh, gateway, great. It should be called a great way. Oh. Oh, you. I have that Ninja Turtle song stuck in my head. So what we're going to be seeing out of StarDust on this map is the usual Zealot follow-up, chrono boosts, always on all the probe until the mothership core pops out. And then we see a rather standard timing. First of all, StarDust does this little cute trick, which is to put one gateway in the main base. As a general rule, when Warp Gate is half done, that's when you gotta throw down the extra gateways. Why half done? Because you can chrono boost to speed time up a little bit. I'm getting complimented on my filling in the chat about the Ninja Turtle song. I'm really excited. I'm really proud of myself. Thank you guys. So anyways, throwing down the 2 gateways. Pretty typical to build about 2-ish gateways in there. But I think it's very easy to look at this timing and to say, alack, the window is missed. We don't have these gateways done, and all this, that, and the other. But at 6 minutes, what tends to be the case for a Zerg? Zerg at 6 minutes is almost always just beginning gas. Has just queens and drones. Just queens and drones. Zerg will always be looking hard for these sorts of plays as well. So, what did Protosses do? Once upon a time, Protosses said, well, if you are going to be expecting a pylon attack, and if you see it, you build defense, then I, the Protoss player, I'm going to hide my pylon. This is where we started to see players do things like go pylon up here. They would pylon up here, do 1 round of warp-ins, and then begin moving down and do the 2nd round of warp-in, and suddenly surprise Zerg with 6 Zealots. And very often it's kind of a cheeky way to just deal a little bit of extra damage and get in there. StarDust, again, a very aggressive player, is going to do some schwanky sweet shit. Yeah. First of all, one of my favorite touches is the single assimilator. You really don't have enough money to go double assimilator. Normally, I would say you don't have enough money to go assimilator, because obviously this is 150 being thrown down, and then when you put 3 probes into each geyser, you're left with almost no probes mining minerals. So you eat into your minerals too much to do this properly. So I'm always like, nah, you can't do this. But the one assimilator, ooh, I shiver with delight at that notion. And 1 probe being produced at a time. Trying to get 2, but if he can sneak in 1, he'll take it. Very sweet play from StarDust. Like, super, super cool. So he's going to be moving in with everything. Normally, I would say that this is a lost cause, but remember, if the Zealots can deal just a little damage to the Queen, then the Mothership Core can clean it up. Seriously, turn around, Mothership Core. You can clean that up. And you can escape pretty comfortably. Whereas most Protosses would have abandoned ship by now. I would definitely include myself in that list. Oh, get in there. StarDust continues to do aggressive warp-in-inning. Because thanks to Time Warp, Queens are almost always pick-offable. Also, with a Time Warp, there's still an abundance of energy to do a Photon Overcharge or something like that. So the big thing that's going on right now, as we examine these bases, I think that the clearest thing to note is around this 6-minute mark. Let's look at production for Zerg, shall we? Let's actually come far away. Look at the production. It's units. Units, and Overlord. There's 2 gas geysers that have been made, but there's only 2. Units. Ooh, a little bit of dronage. Just a touch of dronage. And then units. This is obviously the effect of doing these sorts of aggression, is it's all units. And Nerchio, who tried to sneak in just 5 drones, is going to pay somewhat of a price. Queens are getting lost. Drones are getting killed off. In fact, one has been killed off already. Derp, durdle, derpy derp. And as aggressive an attack as this was by StarDust, still has the conservative play of retreating in these positions, and does this interesting Stalker warp in to mess with roaches. This allows the Zealots room to retreat. While all this was going on, gas has been mined. More probes have been added on, and in fact, StarDust is equal. The entire time that Nerchio was just building units and defending and defending and defending. Pretty good setup. Even continuing to pick off some of these roaches. I think this is like really sick. 4 Stalker warp in to try to reinforce versus slow roaches. That Mothership Core could totally make a cameo appearance and pick off that Queener. This is just weird. Look at this! Look at this! Look at that horse. Now in StarCraft 2 you can't, it's such a fast game, you can't really micro properly and pick off these roaches with 1 shot each individually. You gotta right click, but that's fine. Look at that sweet pick offing. Now all of a sudden, we see that this probe count has actually exceeded the drone count. And there's a couple of other things that are very critical to note. No extra gas mined by Nerchio. No evolution chamber gone down. No real funds to even quite do that properly. And you might say, well, I see the money. There it is. It's right there. This is going to be burned on all the larvae that's about to pop off. So it might be a little bit left over, but I think the point still stands. If we pull back to this push right here, and I'm going to leave open the unit tab this time. Come on. 36 to 33. This is when the push began. Traditionally, Zerg always has the lead. And look at this, catching up 40 to 40. 42 to 38. Ooh, 44. Oh, Protoss is ahead. Zerg just caught up. Pulling ahead more, pulling ahead more. And there's no gas being mined by Zerg. And there's no additional tech that has been produced by Zerg. So it's just basically this low gas count, late layer Meanwhile, we, the Protoss pieces, are balling it up with all of our probes. So then comes one of, I think, the smartest transition. This was popularized by SOS, and by popularized, I mean that I saw him do it and decided that he should deserve all credit. He's the person I've seen do this for a long time that many others have not elected to do. So what he's doing is throwing down 2 Stargates. Why? Why would he do that? Because he's going to be up against largely... Actually, there's a couple of reasons. He's going to be up against largely non-layer units. If we consult the Zerg tech tree, we see that the only layer tech is Queen, Zergling, Roach Warren. Wait, what? Oh, I see. I was like trying to understand. Yeah, it's just Zerglings, Roaches, and Banelings, and the defensive structures. This is weird. I feel like if layer's here, these things should be layer. What an awkward tech tree. Oh. Anyways, all layer tech Zerg has no anti-air, so this is an easy way to deflect it and to get up another expansion. And why would we want to get up another expansion? Because we have been going 3 gas this whole time. We have some extra minerals. Nerchio/Nerchio is doing all things every which way EO. Oh, the mothership core died? Oh, how derpy. Oh, how fucking derpy. So StarDust gets this base up. Seems very early, but the instance the Void Rays appear, it shall be fear mode for the Rochi. So everything we're seeing out of Nerchio suggests that he wants to go straight for Spire. And there it is. Still relatively low on the Spire count. Or excuse me, I should say on the gas count for Spire. Now, normally this is a little bit easier to defend than what we saw. This Nexus should actually be down earlier because the mothership core stayed alive. So that actually kind of stinkers. It's kind of a stinkeroo. But the follow-up after the 2 Void Ray play, again is popularized by SOS, is Charge. Zealot Charge with Viad Rays and all the rest of the slew. Zealot Warpins are going horrifically, and it very easily looks in this position like StarDust is dead. Very much so looks like he is in bad shape. He's going to try to re-expand. He's going to do this annoying stuff where you bring in Void Rays, charge up to kill a hatch, and then recall home. That's always a play in the playbook. But because there was a little bit of lack of vision up in mid, yikesies, loses the expansion again. Whew, that's cool. And this is a pretty easy situation. If you can't get your expansion up, you just add on more warp gates. Templar Archives going down because it's a Zealot Archon Void Ray is the big mix. If Mutalisks show up, we just easily pop out a couple Phoenixes, as we are about to see. So Nerchio actually looks like he is pulled back into this amazing position. It looks like he is en route to winning the game. Recall back home. Phoenixes start getting produced. There's a lot of Zealots out here, but you don't really need a lot of Phoenixes to deal with this. Normally, a Zerg that goes to Phoenix is going to struggle against the... normally a Zerg that goes Mutalisk is going to instantly struggle against Phoenix and will therefore build Corruptors, but this sort of cancels that out. Notice how bad the the Mutalisk transition is in this position. Well, if you're Nerchio, you start to build Phoenix. You can't really build Corruptors quickly because of these. Archons, backed by the new Phoenix production and the existing Void Ray production, slaughter it very quickly. So we see StarDust is actually thrilled to be up against Mutalisk. I think it's one of the big errors of Nerchio in this game. Even with, I wouldn't say not poorly microed mutas, but mutas that were still kind of spread out, but not really spread out too much. Very reasonably 1-aid. Easy, easy cleanup for StarDust. And yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yes. A a very nice game from our friend StarDust. So now we got to pick a number between 1 and 5. That's 1, 3, or 5. So 1, 3, or 5, let me know. But I really like that game because it showcased two things. One, the notion of if you do some aggression, do a little bit of aggression, then and the Zerg is kept low on gas, kind of high on units, transitioning swiftly into 2 Stargate Void Ray is very potent because there's just really not that much that the Zerg can do. What really can he do about it? You get the 3rd up, almost guaranteed, and even if you leave home, as we saw StarDust do, and the error occurs where you lose the base, you still have tons of versatility. Zealot Archon being the good choice. And second, I think more important, is we saw how StarDust was able to continue to barrel down the front, doing warp-ins, and then more warp-ins, and then just a 4-stalker warp-in to deal with roaches is amazingly effective. Let's see what the choice is. Started off as 1, but then 1 got rapidly evaporated. 5. It's going to be 5. Short game on Frost. Perfect. The shortest game of the set. I wonder what's going to happen. I actually have a suspicion. Let's go to the StarDust cam. Frost. Biggest map in the map pool. Finally has usurped Whirlwind for that title. Excuse me. So, with that in mind, we say, okay, well, StarDust can either go super defensive, ultra powery, or he can just blast it on up with the Warp Gate play. What do you think is gonna happen? Do-wop-do. Wow, someone in chat has talked about not ever having a girlfriend. What ammunition I have now. Unfortunately, that's not actually really ammunition. That's actually surprisingly normal. But rats. I'll pretend like it is and feel cool. Welcome to high school all over again. Let me tell you something. I'm 27 now. And nobody gives a fuck about any of that at all. You want Halloween costumes? Not when you're age 27. If you do, you dress up as something very intelligent and wistful and clever. Something really good, like you paint yourself like a black and white movie. Most of the time, if you are in high school and college, it's a night to look all sexy and inappropriate with bunny ears. I love Halloween. Let's get drunk. Do you guys want to do shots? Oh, God. Doing shots. Do you want to do a shot with me? What does that even mean? I know what that means literally, but what? Come on. I'm talking, we're having a conversation, we're interacting, you want to do shots? Oh my god! That doesn't stop after college. I can actually wrap my head around the idea of like, yeah, let's do a couple shots and then let's interact. But when the purpose of the evening is to do shots, that's so weird. Oh my god, that's like going on a road trip purely because you want to drive. I don't know, when we get Yosemite, let's turn around and come back. No, let's see Yosemite. I want to see that thing explode. I'm here for explosions. You see? Why would you go on a road trip just to drive? NASA has spent $47 billion sending a man into space. He has reported that 0G is totally rad, and he has been welcomed back to Earth. I just want to see what I want to be in space. I just want to see what it's like. Oh. Alright. Same sort of structure as we saw before. Gateway, then expansion, doo-wop. Oh, 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 oh my god. attack now. This is that opening that I told you about that all the gateway first users struggle with. Fast speed lings in your face, killing your attempt to get another base. The base. The base. Wob, 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 wob. But StarDust just walls in. Wob, wob, wob. Soon enough, he's going to have the Mothership Core. This is kind of one of the big reasons why many Gateway first users are advocating the Gateway and Cyber at the front so that they can re-wall off in case of problems. Wob, wob, wob. Oh, let us get probes! You want probes? Well, Photon overcharge this. Photon overcharge. There it is. Do 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 do. That's a great song. It's called Wanted to Hit by LCD Sound System. So in this position, I think there's nothing wrong with just walling off entirely. The one tragedy that just occurred here is that StarDust force-fielded himself away from his own wall-off, and now he's getting all in with the lings. The pain it stings. What on earth will you just do if you have absolutely nothing? Now, I think this does make a ton of sense, following up an early all-in attempt with a fast warp prism. It's extremely difficult for a Zerg player without layer tech to deal with a force field at his ramp. Like, extremely difficult. So Nerchio is just going to keep bringing on the noise. Oh, if this wall off goes down, I actually didn't see the rest of this game. You said you wanted a hit. Oh my god. Can he wall it off? Alright, he did. He did wall it off. Okay. This is not quite what I would have anticipated. The force field at the ramp is juicy. It's... Who is the demon in Death Note? Who thought apples were juicy? Juicy. Regardless, I think this is a very clever follow-up from StarDust. I think he should have hooked up and then dropped there and force fielded the main. I think it not only would have been higher reward, but I think it would have been less risk. In the meantime, he's doing some excellent warping. Trapping that queen. No way, if he wins this, that would be the sickest. That would be the illest. That would be iller than Illidan himself. You know what, we're gonna be going back. We're gonna be going to a break. This game was so sick. No way, I never saw that game. What a sicko. What a beast. Oh, that's right, Duke. As Duke would say, that game was juicy. So when we come back, we have game 1 or 3, where we know for a fact StarDust dies. So we're going to see how. When we return, we're going to do that. This is the Day 9 Daily, and you are becoming a better gamer because you deserve it.